Welcome back to the 2017 York Region Innovation and Broadband and Innovation Summit. It is now my pleasure to introduce Jane Gertner. She is the Vice President of Partnerships and External Relations at ventureLAB. At ventureLAB, Jane's focus is on building strategic partnerships with industry, academia, and government leaders, and developing strategic programs and projects. In her previous role at ventureLAB, Jane led the development of the Health Innovation Cluster in York Region, which she has become recognized across the province for its strong desire to innovate and its ability to commercialize new technologies. A fitting introduction for an innovation summit, so please help me welcome Jane Gertner.
Thank you, Mark. And hello from ventureLAB. I realized when I looked at my watch, it's too late to say good morning and it's too early to say good afternoon. So I think I'm going to just stick with hello from ventureLAB. And thank you so much for the opportunity to share ventureLAB's insights and experience on innovation in York Region. And I can't tell you after 3 years how amazing it is to be standing in a ballroom full of people that are here to talk about innovation in York Region, because we really have so much to be proud of. And I just have one quick request. I do not have a loud voice. If those of you in the back can't hear me, can somebody do this to make sure that thank you. Thanks for the thumbs up, to make sure that I'm speaking loud enough. As York Region's innovation hub, ventureLAB enjoys the very unique perspective of being at the center of this region's powerful innovation ecosystem. We work closely, as Mark had just told you, with our academic, government, community, and industry partners to drive successful outcomes and help elevate the strength, reputation, and value of our collective brands. And it's very much about our collective brands here in York Region. York Region is one of the most innovative places, not just in North America, but globally. Yet it remains a deep, dark secret. You know, we're still struggling to get our identity out there, and it's a best-kept secret whose time to shine really, really has arrived, and this full ballroom is testament to that. The benefits York Region has to offer are complementary, not competitive, with the better-known and much noisier neighbors we have in other innovation ecosystems in Toronto and Kitchener-Waterloo. Toronto, like any major metropolitan city, has a large and very fragmented innovation ecosystem. It has little sense of community, and it's very much driven by the deep research of its universities and is focused on life sciences, the financial sector, and the service sector. Kitchener-Waterloo, as I think all of you know, because they are very loud and proud, has a very different kind of ecosystem. It has a very distinct personality with a very strong and vibrant startup culture. And the interesting thing about Kitchener-Waterloo, and then I'm going to talk about York Region and what our competitive advantage is, that it has a vibrant startup culture and a very heavy software focus. But it's this startup culture that seeds industry in Kitchener-Waterloo. Many of the big companies in that region were startups, and that's how they they were startups, they had the support of the community, and they grew up to be large and successful companies. Okay. York Region enjoys a very strong value proposition all its own. Our innovation ecosystem is incredibly, incredibly diverse. Markham and the surrounding communities are home to deep technology and microelectronics powerhouses, and it's very hardware-driven. And these companies are out there creating, sometimes in Canada, very transformational products. Organizations such as AMD, Qualcomm, just look around, GM, Huawei, IBM. It's also home to some of the best and brightest entrepreneurs, academic institutions, and key thought leaders. And Markham is a pioneer in municipal innovation with its ambitious vision to transform itself into a major digital destination. So really, talent, capital, and technology. These are the three pillars you're going to continue to hear about over and over again in the region and from ventureLAB, because these are what are at the heart and the competitive advantage of York Region's innovation cluster. In terms of taking a look at, what is our innovation ecosystem in York Region? What does it look like? A key aspect of it, and I know, and thank you, Myron, for talking to this about half an hour ago. A key aspect of our competitive advantage is community-driven innovation. We are all about community and community leading in. Myron just talked about how ventureLAB had helped him bring together an entire community of health innovators to take a look at the work he did rather than him having to go out one at a time and start calling people. Community is a huge part about what we're all about. And ventureLAB, as you can see here, is in the center of this innovation or in this innovation ecosystem because it has helped weave this ecosystem together in a very connected and cohesive way. And that is very much how we see our role in this region. Our strong regional value proposition is also heavily tied to the richness of the deep technology industry, and this is how we are so different from Kitchener-Waterloo. It is our industry that seeds the entrepreneurial community. In Kitchener-Waterloo, it is the startup culture that turns into companies. We already have huge and vibrant and strong companies, and what they are doing is spawning an incredible group of entrepreneurs that we meet. And what makes it different is they already have business experience. They have a strong professional network. They have channels to market, and oftentimes a successful track record of raising money and raising capital. These entrepreneurs that we see here in York Region that come out of the depth of the industry clusters that are here are more capable of turning startups into scale-ups faster and have the potential to commercialize and expand globally, driving revenue and job creation in York Region. So we have a very strong competitive advantage, and we are very different than the other regions. At ventureLAB, our value proposition is very much aligned with the regional strengths in York Region. Our end game, as you can see here, is really creating strong global enterprises. It starts by fostering a strong youth entrepreneurship and creating and curating that talent pipeline early, which is on the left. And we are focusing now on programs that start right in grade school, partnering with the first LEGO League, partnering with organizations like Y2 and the universities and colleges to start creating the talent pipeline that this region needs to continue to grow, continue to develop, and do more R&D in Canada. Right now, if you look at the websites of some of the major organizations and industry players in this region, some of them have 50, 80 job openings. They are crying for knowledge and talent. And if this pipeline does not start to get created early, we're going to lose the competitive advantage that we potentially can build here by making sure that the right people and the right talent is curated in this region from day one. As a matter of fact, we have a client called, and many of you in this room who I know of them, the Classy Cyborgs. They were the winners of a local first, they're from Aurora, were winners of a lot of first LEGO League competitions. They are in grade school, 8 years old, 8 to 14 years old, and we work with this team. So imagine working with a team of 8 to 14-year-olds who now have York University Faculty of Engineering working on their product, which is a gaming box for blind, for children that are learning Braille. And they are a company. They are talent that's going to be in this community. It is a very rich community from this point of view, but you have to create that talent pipeline early. So we strive to do that. We're going to strive to create what's called Made in Ontario homegrown unicorns, some of those companies that start small and grow into huge successes like Platform Computing, ATI Technologies. They came out of York Region to be very, very successful companies. Again, capital, talent, and technology. It's a theme that we're going to talk about over and over again, and we've been very, very successful at ventureLAB and had a strong impact already on the capital side. If you take a look at in 2016, we were able to secure for our health innovation clients $15 million in public and private funding. We also have a capital funding program that has been running for 4 years now. We have had 91 companies that have 580 employees that were seeking more than $121 million from 20 different investment groups. So how did we do? 46 of our clients have raised more than $38 million in that program to date. And even more compelling, companies in that program are 8 times more likely than the National Angel average, as reported by the National Angel Organization in Canada, to raise funding 30% faster and to complete their funding round. So we're certainly having a strong impact on creating these superstar companies that are going to grow into some of those unicorns. I want to talk for a minute about healthcare as well. Healthcare is alive and well and very strong in York Region, but again, very, very different than it is in other regions. Health and health technology companies are about almost 50% of our portfolio at ventureLAB. However, 95% of them, not surprising in this region, are technology companies. They are strong, strong health technology companies that have gotten to market quickly with the strong ecosystem we have here and are achieving incredible results. The health cluster we built together in partnership with our 3 hospitals and our other healthcare partners, such as St. Elizabeth, has become recognized across the province for its strong desire to innovate and its ability and agility to commercialize new products. And in all honesty, there is not a week that goes by now that my phone doesn't ring with a health innovation colleague from another innovation center in the province, and there are 18 of them across the province, to understand how we created such strong partnerships with our healthcare partners and a commercialization engine that actually works. It gets products to market. They all want to bring their innovations and entrepreneurs here to leverage what this region has actually built. Some of these statistics may look like Greek to you because they are all programs with 3 alphabet letters. It is a bit of alphabet soup. That means a lot to people in the healthcare technology business, but I will tell you these are important commercialization grants that companies in our ecosystem here at ventureLAB and in York Region have won. The province set up a health technology fund. They put $20 million of it over 4 years to actually commercialize health technologies. The first round was $5.4 million. $1 million of that was awarded to ventureLAB clients right here in York Region. There is a program from the innovation side called Embedded Executive. 2 of those 3 in healthcare across the province, again, went to ventureLAB clients. The Branham Group, whom many of you may know, they're quite well known, does a whole series of rankings every year, and they have won every year for the top 25 national up-and-coming ICT firms each year. In 2015 and 2016, 4 of those 25 were actually here in York Region and clients of ventureLAB. So I want to talk for a moment about some other real strengths and assets and things that are happening in this region in innovation. IBM's innovation space, this is where we live at ventureLAB with many of our partners in the IBM headquarters, and we believe our relatively new strategic partnership with IBM is a critical success factor for driving innovation, commercialization, and economic growth in the region. This relationship has enabled us to become the first, believe it or not, we are the first external incubator and the only one in IBM anywhere in the world. IBM has 46 incubators around the world. Some are freestanding, some are in other accelerators. We are the one and only inside IBM, and you can just imagine the benefits that that brings. We've been able to foster and accelerate the level of deep industry engagement with them, technology adoption, and create networks and sales channels, leveraging IBM for our clients. In other words, we've been able to leverage their enterprise strength to help small companies grow and scale faster. So public-private communications, this is another core strength in this region that we should be incredibly proud of. In our ability to form these partnerships with the goal of advancing our innovation agenda and creating best practices that other innovation systems are starting to model. We've always played a central role in connecting the key players and providing strategic input and guidance. And just some very quick projects that I'd be happy to talk to any of you about individually afterwards are some projects we're working on with Seneca York for the new campus in Markham in terms of ensuring that The students that will be going through there will get a hands-on experiential education. We've been working on the Intelligent Cities and Digital Markham project from a strategic perspective very, very closely with the city of Markham. And we have brought, the reason we were so successful in our health technology funding, where we got 20% of what was granted across the province, is because we brought our hospitals together in a room 2 years ago when this program was launched to talk about how we could win together. And we sat around a table planning together and looking at companies, how we were going to make this happen. Again, another example of the community leading in and community-led innovation, which is a real core strength for this region. Now I want to talk about another program quickly that we have, and a shout out to one of our wonderful partners in this, Pat, if you can, Clifford at South Lake Hospital, if you can, who's over there. It is a model for innovation and commercialization in healthcare. We pioneered way back in 2012 and leveraged into a multi-million-dollar federal program with our wonderful partners at South Lake Hospital and York University. Over the life of the program, at least 15 innovations will be commercialized, and it has attracted healthcare partners and entrepreneurs across the province. And the strength of this program and this tool has enabled us now to take it to the private sector and put out these challenges and calls for innovative companies and new innovations so that we in York Region can really lead the way in driving innovation. Another program that we have been very successful with is the IBM i3 program. ventureLAB is one of 5 i3 hubs in Ontario, collaborating with IBM and the Ontario Centres of Excellence to level the playing field for small and mid-sized companies by offering an integrated set of IBM technology tools, services, and access to their market channels to reduce the cost and speed to market for these smaller ventures, a huge benefit. We already, after less than a year, have 100 deep technology startups and scale-ups in the pipeline through ventureLAB, with 40 companies already leveraging IBM technologies and connections. York Region and ventureLAB is leading the province in the impact and delivery of this program, and it will serve again as a best practice model for future industry-led public-private communication collaborations that we intend to have come back to York Region. So how do we help, and what do we do at ventureLAB? We connect innovative startups to great tech talent. We do programming, events, workshops, clinics. We have office space for both partners, large and small, ventures, large and small, in our innovation space in the Markham Convergence Center at IBM. We provide connections to customers, partners in our community, and we clearly, as you saw, prepare companies for investment and funding opportunities. And for these technology companies that we serve, we provide strong mentorship to help them grow and succeed and scale on a global basis. So I have 2 success stories, and I'd be happy to chat with you about any of them. Both of them are individually, in the interest of time. They are both local York Region companies. First one from Richmond Hill, For a Healthy Me, that has been with us for 5 years in the health technology space and has grown to become a very, very successful company that is actually reaching out now internationally, has been awarded and validated with all sorts of public and private funding, and they were grown and hatched here. Another one you may have heard of that the region has certainly been very loud and proud about is Pond Technologies in Markham. Pond Technologies is in the clean tech space. They are a semi-finalist in a $20 million X Prize competition. They have a strategic partnership with SNC-Lavalin to develop and deliver their recycling technology worldwide. They're part of Ontario's climate change strategy, investments from the Ontario government of $4 million and $2.3 from the federal government. Again, a wonderful homegrown success story of a company that is rapidly expanding on a global basis and was born right here in York Region. So, in closing, innovation in York Region is thriving, even if enough people don't know about that. Our first 6 years at ventureLAB were about quietly, and I might admit far too quietly, creating agile ecosystems, forging strong partnerships and channels to market for our clients, and developing and nurturing entrepreneurs with global ambitions and the capability to innovate and commercialize. This enabled us to deliver, as you saw, a range of best-in-class outcomes that have been acknowledged by the Ontario innovation ecosystem, yet we're all still too far under the radar. As for the future of innovation in York Region and of ventureLAB, our plan is now much bolder. We will be louder and prouder of what we're all capable of creating and delivering, and we will take our rightful place as a leader in the Ontario innovation ecosystem. At ventureLAB, we're going to be the enabler that helps a rich talent pipeline from elementary school right through to university for our large multinationals to boost Canada's competitiveness in R&D. We will attract entrepreneurs, the best entrepreneurs, and grow them to ensure our healthcare organizations, our industry partners, and our smart cities have access to the most innovative technologies. We're going to drive more public-private collaborations to help ensure that the students at what will be, with the Markham campus of Seneca York, one of the most technologically advanced academic institutions in the country, well, that we're going to ensure that they have real-life exposure and experience with the important work the global powerhouses in our region are doing in the deep technology and microelectronics field. And finally, we're going to take full advantage of living inside IBM's house by leveraging their products, their programs, their teams, their connections, and their sales channels. We will make it our mission to build one connected tech community in York Region, which is Canada's largest and most established tech cluster. And we want to be the enabler that helps deliver superior outcomes in what distinguishes this region from all others: talent, capital, and technology. Thank you.